This is what happens when a 17-year-old throws down a historic dunk that nobody films, watches someone else get credit for it by accident, and then ends up starting for one of the best women's basketball programs in the country anyway. Her name is Alicia Tournebize, and her path from a French gym to the South Carolina Gamecocks is one of the stranger, more interesting rises in the sport right now. July 21st, 2007, Vichy, France. That's where Alicia Tournebize's story begins, and basketball was never going to be a stretch in that household. Her mother, Isabelle Fijalkowski, ranks among the most decorated players French basketball has ever produced, having played college ball at the University of Colorado before the Cleveland Rockers drafted her into the WNBA. From there, Fijalkowski built a resume most players only dream about: a WNBA Eastern Conference Championship, 2 Eurobasket silver medals, a Eurobasket gold medal, and a trip to the 2000 Olympics. Add to that 2,562 points across 204 games, which makes her the French national team's all-time leading scorer, and a spot already secured in both the French Basketball Hall of Fame and the FIBA Hall of Fame, with the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame's class of 2026 still to come. Growing up around that kind of pedigree, Alicia attended Lycée Hélène Fournier while working her way up through the youth system at Tango Bourges Basket, starting at the under-15 level and eventually earning a spot on the club's professional roster. Her story takes its first strange turn on September 21st, 2024, when she dunked in an official NF2 game for Bourges against Beaumont, making her the first French woman ever to do it in a sanctioned match. The problem was, no camera caught the moment, so it happened and vanished without any proof behind it. Weeks later, in October 2024, a different French player named Dominique Malanga threw down a dunk that did get filmed, and the credit for being first landed on her instead, a claim that held up publicly for months. That changed on March 17th, 2025, nearly 6 months after the fact, when footage of Tournebize's original dunk finally turned up and the French outlet L'Équipe published it, setting the record straight. Tournebize had been first all along. She just hadn't had a camera pointed at her when it counted. While that footage controversy was still sorting itself out, her actual playing time told a much quieter story. Just 8 games for Bourges in the 2024 to 2025 season, with modest averages of 2.4 points and 1.9 rebounds in roughly 7.5 minutes a night. She'd already made her international debut for France that same year at the 2024 FIBA Under-17 World Cup, putting up 3.3 points and 1.8 rebounds a full year before the tournament that would actually put her on the map. Everything changed in the summer of 2025 at the FIBA Under-18 Women's Eurobasket, where Tournebize averaged 12.1 points, 8.9 rebounds, and 1.4 assists, numbers good enough to rank in the tournament's top 10 in both scoring and rebounding. Her signature moment came in the bronze medal game against Belgium on July 13, 2025, a 19-point, 12-rebound double-double capped off by a two-handed dunk that spread across social media almost instantly. France walked away with bronze, and Tournebize walked away with a spot on the tournament's All-Star 5. 6 months after that breakout tournament, on December 22, 2025, came the announcement that she was leaving Bourges for Dawn Staley's South Carolina Gamecocks, enrolling for the spring 2026 semester, and officially joining the program on January 1, 2026. Several things pushed that decision. South Carolina's front court had gotten thinner after forward Chloe Kitts went down with a season-ending ACL injury in October 2025, and on the other side, Tournebize wasn't seeing consistent minutes at Bourges and wanted a path that combined basketball with an actual education. The move was even possible in the first place because of how the NCAA treats European contracts signed by young players. Those training deals function more like cost of living stipends than real professional pay, so they don't cost a player their amateur status. Here's the twist nobody expects. Joining the NCAA actually pushes back her WNBA draft eligibility compared to staying a pro overseas, since international prospects can enter a draft the year they turn 20, while domestic prospects, a group she now belongs to, have to wait until 22. Her South Carolina debut came on January 15, 2026, against Texas, and it was about as low-key as a debut gets. 5 minutes on the floor, no points, no rebounds, just the first substitute called off the bench. From there, Dawn Staley eased her into the rotation carefully. Staley put it plainly early on, saying, "I think we got a gem of a player. She is 6'7", athletic. I mean, she's 18 years old," and later added, "She's a lot more mature than her 18-year-old self. She has been a pro for a few years now." Tournebize's own words captured the adjustment just as clearly. "Everything is bigger here," she admitted. "The cars, the stores, and even the food. On the speed of American basketball," she explained, "the game is a little bit different from how I used to play in France and in Europe." A moment later in that same conversation, she added, "Here, people try to use their speed more. In France, they used their experience because they were older." Her role expanded as the season progressed. 6 points and 7 rebounds came in the SEC Tournament Championship game against Texas on March 8, 2026, a performance Staley labeled inspired. And the NCAA tournament brought 5 points and a season-high 11 rebounds against Southern University, followed by 6 points and 2 rebounds against USC. Across the full season, 20 games produced averages of 4.0 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 0.4 assists in 12.5 minutes a night. South Carolina rode that momentum all the way to the national championship game as a number 1 seed, knocking off UConn 62-48 in the Final Four to snap the Huskies' 54-game winning streak before UCLA closed the season out with a 79-51 win in the title game on April 5th, 2026 in Phoenix. This summer finds Tournebize heading into her sophomore season at South Carolina, and her international career shows no sign of slowing down. France's senior national team has invited her to training camp starting August 19th, 2026, in Paris, which makes her the only NCAA player in that camp and, by just 8 days, the youngest player there as well. That camp is building toward the 2026 FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, set for September 4th through 13th in Berlin, Germany. A camp invitation doesn't lock in a World Cup roster spot, but at 18 years old, it puts her directly in the conversation with her country's senior team. That's the arc so far, a dunk nobody filmed and nearly lost credit for, a breakout Eurobasket run that made her impossible to ignore, a mid-season jump to one of the best programs in the country, and now a look from her senior national team before she's even finished a full college season. Alicia Tournebize's story is still being written. She remains a role player learning a new system in a new country. But between the family history, the frame, and the flashes of skill she's already shown, it makes sense why people are watching closely for what comes next.